The purpose of this Corning training video is to demonstrate the installation of the Corning FuseLite SC Splice-On connector for 900 micron tight buffered fiber. The tools needed for the procedure are as follows: the 2-hole fiber stripper, your 90% or better isopropyl alcohol, as well as your lint-free cleaning wipes. The next piece of equipment that you will need is the fusion splicer. This is the Corning OptiSplice 1 fusion splicer. Ensure that you have acquired the proper Corning fiber handlers to perform this operation. The OptiSplice 1 fusion splicer is also equipped with the FBC 006H cleaver. Now let's look at the features of the SC FuseLite connector. The Corning FuseLite SC connector comes packaged as you see here, everything that you need. The vital components are: you have your ferrule subassembly, which has your factory cleave fiber stub, and then you have your dust cap antenna, which will be removed later in the process. Heat shrink sleeve with integrated spring, your rear boot assembly, and then you have your inner housing, and your final step will be to install the outer shroud. Now let's prepare the 900 micron fiber. First, make a 40 millimeter mark from the end of the fiber, which I've already done. Secondly, this is the rear boot assembly. You insert the fiber in through the rear and slide it out of the way. And then we'll do the same with the heat shrink sleeve. Just insert the fiber all the way through and slide it out of the way. With your fiber strippers, large hole, remove the 900 micron jacket. And then with the small hole, remove the 250 micron coating. So now we'll clean it with 90% or better isopropyl alcohol. And now we'll place the fiber in the handler. Be sure that you have approximately 2 millimeters of the 900 buffer extending from the end of the handler. Now insert the handler into the cleaver. Make sure that it's fully seated and cleave the fiber. And make sure that you dispose of any fiber splinters appropriately. Make sure that you protect the end of the fiber and do not come in contact with any other objects. Place the handler in the machine. Make sure it's nicely seated, and then we'll move on to the next step. First thing I want to point out on the ferrule subassembly is the little black dot on the very top. This will ensure proper positioning in the handler. Position the subassembly in the handler. Make sure that it is positioned all the way up flush to the end, and that the black dot is facing upward. Close the handler. Make sure that you protect the fiber end face when transitioning the handler into the machine, ensuring that you do not make contact with any surface. I'll close the electrode flap, and now we'll set our program for a single mode. So we go to Home, Programs, right arrow key. I will make sure that single mode is highlighted, and I want standard single mode, and right arrow key. I press Home, and now I press the green button, and I press it one more time. So now that the splice is complete, open up your heat shrink oven. Lower the electrode flap, release the clamp for your filled fiber, then release the clamp for the subassembly. Be sure that you keep the fiber tight and don't twist it or bend it, or it will break. So next step is to have the heat shrink sleeve slide all the way down to the rear of the subassembly, and we'll transfer it to the heat shrink oven and make sure that the heat shrink is centered in the middle of the oven. close the lid. So at the audible alert, raise the heat shrink oven lid. Now keep in mind that the heat shrink sleeve is still hot. You'll set it aside and let it cool for just a few moments before completing the assembly. The final assembly process begins with sliding the boot assembly up over the heat shrink sleeve into position. Then you'll take your inner housing with the red dot matching up to the black dot on the ferrule subassembly. Slide it over the dust cap antenna, line it up, and simply push and snap the two pieces together. Next is take the outer shroud housing, slide it up, make sure that you are matching the key on top with the red dot, and simply push it into place. And the final step is the removal of the dust cap antenna, and now you have your completed FuseLite SC Splice-on connector. That's it. If you have any questions or recommendations for videos, call us or send us an email at cablesystems@corning.com. Remember, Corning Cable Systems recommends getting properly trained in fiber optic installation. We offer a series of training classes. Thank you.